So today we have Dr. Chunendra K. Sahu. Chunendra graduated from University of Alberta in 2016, and then he worked here as a postdoctoral fellow. And after that, in 2017, he joined University of Cambridge in the Art Science Department and Applied Math and Theoretical Physics Department, where he is working on porous media flow. Thank you, Chunendra, for joining us today. And
thanks, Mohammed, for having me.
Yeah, we are very happy and would be interested to know here today that how the academic activities as well as the research activities are adapted there at Cambridge in this unprecedented time.
Sir, it will be a pleasure to share what's happening. And definitely, I'll present my views. It's, I'm not a communication person from the university. It will be more based on what from my experience.
Yeah, sure.
So the university has actually taken two different steps for undergrad and graduate students. So first thing which is common is that all students have been asked to go back to their homes, irrespective of where they come from. So especially the undergrad. So at the moment, almost every single undergrad student from Cambridge, they have gone back to their home in different countries. In graduate students, most of them are back in their home countries and some of them are still here. So for undergrad students, classes are running as usual, but online. So all classes have been running through Zoom, or I think most likely Zoom. And I'm not very sure about the lab thing, how they are taking care of the labs. I really don't know, but classes are running as usual. And also in Cambridge, there is one interesting thing which you might not know, that's called supervision, teaching supervision. So and Cambridge has different colleges, and each college take care of supervision. So what it does is each student is assigned a supervisor, teaching supervisor, which is different from instructor. So instructor will take the lecture. He will teach like 100 to 200 students, but then each student will have a personal teaching supervisor, and they are generally supervised in batch of 2. So when classes are running as usual, in that case, supervisor will meet 2 students at a time every week. And apart from the lectures, this teaching supervisor, he will help those students in solving the problems or what are going in the lecture. So the same thing is happening now. It's just that it's not happening in person, but it's happening online. So all these teaching supervisor is still meeting their students, and then they're supervising. They're trying their best to supervise online. So that thing is running as usual. So I believe all the students, they are still getting enough help from the university, both from their instructor for the lectures, as well as for personal tutoring from the teaching supervisors. So that's running well, I guess. But there is one challenge for undergraduate students, and that is because, again, students are from across all parts of the world, and lecture runs at one particular time here. Yeah. Right, and that's why some students have to attend from maybe, let's say, from the US at midnight, or maybe from China or India at late evening or early morning. So you never know which time they are attending it. So that, I believe, is the biggest challenge what maybe students are facing. But apart from that, I believe things are running smoothly. And also, I think already exams are over. And I don't know exactly how the grading system is working, but yes, anyway, the things are running normal. In terms of graduate life, there are two things. So in all graduate students, so here the interesting part is graduate students or PhD students in particular, they don't have to do coursework. So it's just research. So they don't have to deal with their lectures and coursework. So they only have to take care of their research. And research, again, it can be categorized into 2 parts. One is either experimental research or analytical research. So those who are doing, or those if they were doing experimental research, for them it has come as a kind of a big shock, let's say. Yeah, but those who work on analytical part or computational part, maybe it's not making much difference for them. It's just that they have to be home all the time and do the work, but otherwise they are doing the same work what they would do in the office. Right. So for graduate studies, I think it's running fine. It's just that those who are doing experiments, maybe they might be waiting desperately for the labs to reopen again. So that is one thing. But there have been some people who have been lucky. They finished their experiments before the lockdown started, and they are utilizing this time to analyze those data and write publications. So that's one good thing. And also, apart from these research or teaching, so most of the graduate students here, they generally get a scholarship from the governments or from a scholarship agency. So here supervisors generally don't pay, or they don't have to pay. Most of the almost 90% of the students, they get a scholarship from the government or some funding agencies. So almost all funding agencies have promised that they will extend their scholarship for 6 more months.
Oh, wow.
So let's say somebody's funding was ending in December this year, right? And generally they get funding for 3.5 years or 4 years. So because of the lockdown, they are extended for 6 more months. So if they're losing their time now, they will it will be balanced by those extra 6 months they will get after their funding is over. So somehow I think things are okay. And students are still happy.
So that in many institutions, it's a big challenge that those students who are about to graduate, they are facing the most challenges, I guess. Because
I would,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I would like to add. So apart from the PhD students, so that's about the funding agencies and all. And university has been very helpful as well for postdocs too. So those postdocs who are losing their contract, or if contract was ending, let's say in March or April this year, and because of the lockdown now they don't have any possibility of getting a new job during this time. So university decided to extend everybody's contract till July end. So at least till July end as of now, and they might extend further if needed. Yeah. So irrespective of visa, let's say somebody, the visa might expire, so they might not work. They might not be able to work here. So university said that you can continue working on your project, and if you're not, then you will still get paid.
Wow.
So university has been really helpful in terms of supporting its students or postdocs.
That's very generous notion of the university.
Yeah.
At one time or other, the university and the countries as well, the economy needs to reopen. So the university, is there any strategy already built up on how to phase in the next part, or let's say that?
So universities again using two different strategies, one for teaching and one for research related students and postdocs. So for students, I think the university has decided to go online completely for next 1 year.
Okay.
So so till the end of this term 2020-2021 term, this 1 year is going to be completely online. They said that they will revise this situation on timely basis, and if things get much better, they might open it completely. But as of now, they have decided to go online for next 1 year. So lectures will be completely online, and tutoring will be online. Everything will be online. I'm just not sure again about the lab, whether labs, how they are going to manage the lab experiments, because during undergraduate time, they all need lab experience, how to do experiments and all. So I'm not sure about that part, but lectures will be online. Okay. And in terms of returning back to Cambridge, I believe they will still be allowed to come back to the university, because now most of the students are back in their home country.
Yeah.
Right. So, but they will be allowed to come back. But even if they come back to the college or to the university, they will most likely be staying in their accommodation. They will participate in small activities, but because lecture comes in, it is considered as a large gathering, right? It generally has more than 100 members attending. So university or maybe the government itself is trying to define some rules, like social gathering or any kind of gathering cannot have more than 20 people or 40 people, something like that. And that's why I think lecture is going to be completely online, but student will still be allowed to come back to the university. So that's about the students, those undergraduate students, let's say. And for research students, university is continuously discussing this topic, and I believe there has been 3 different categories for research students or postdocs. So first category was those who have been working on things related to, let's say, coronavirus itself. For example, somebody developing a vaccine, right? Or someone working on some technology which is related to hospitals, or let's say ventilation of the hospital, or any technical thing, not necessarily vaccine. So they have been allowed to continue their work. So they have got a special permission to keep going to the labs. So so there was no such lockdown thing for them. So they have been going continuously. But obviously they are taking a lot of precautions. They have got enough guidelines to follow those precautions. So that was first group, and the second group is now. So the remaining people can be again are divided into two groups. One who actually need lab space. Their research is completely based on lab space, and there is another group, those who work on, let's say, mathematical problems, something like that. They actually manage from home, work from home. So now at the moment, university is considering the second group, those who need lab space. So how the university will let them go back to their workplace. So they are continuously discussing this topic, and I believe they are going to reopen soon, maybe within a month or so. So again, they haven't promised any timeline, but continuously, like Vice Chancellor says, that discussion is going on. So there is a chance that like 1/4 of the members of the department, they will be allowed to go back to the department, though, and especially preference will be given to them who need to do their experiment in the lab. And then the third group, like myself, who can manage with theoretical work or computational work, for them there is no such thing yet. It might take more than a month or two, or we just don't know how long it will take. So this is how the university has been managing things.
Oh, it sounds like the university is managing it very well.
Yeah, it's trying its best.
And are you facing any technological, like any new technology, new device or new software in this time, in the COVID situation?
Yeah, you mean if I'm
Like
trying to develop anything?
working from home, are you using any new devices or technology?
Oh, in that sense, so I think some of the these online platforms which people are using have become quite common around the world. So for example, Zoom has become very common. It is used for almost every single let's say research talks or lectures or things like that. So I think what other universities are doing, I think Cambridge is doing almost the same thing. And given that Zoom is quite user friendly, but apart from that, I wouldn't say we are using a lot of other things. For example, in terms of sharing data and all, with my supervisor, I use Dropbox. We have a common shared Dropbox folder where I upload some figures which I would like to discuss, and he can check immediately. Yeah, so these are, but I would say these are all those common online platforms which people have been using, not just now, but since, let's say, past many years. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. I think that covers pretty much our many questions. And thank you, Chunendra, again for sharing this experience to us.
Thanks, Mohammed. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.